When do I record videos? Now, videos for me are now the primary output of content. I think the video has the main advantage that it includes visual information as well as audio. What this now means is that a certain thing I say can be judged by the user more accurately because I'm also using my voice. I'm also using potential gestures. So if I say exponential, and I'm using this gesture, then this is additional information that allows the user to get higher informational density per unit of time. In other words, at least in theory, I provide more value. And since the standard I try to adhere to for these videos is that I am neutral, the goal is actually informational density and not entertainment. So there are two extremes for when I should or do record videos. The first one is a batch. It's 1 unit of time in which I record many videos. At the other end is total distribution. So here is my life, and then I record a video here, here, here. Now, of course, I need to sleep. I also have a basic rest and activity cycle. So if I record and I want to batch for 8 hours, then eventually my video quality goes down because my video quality, now because of the style of the videos I record, is mostly dependent on my ability to speak, which is mostly dependent on my brain's power output. I think it makes more sense instead of batching, at least if I can reduce the average setup cost per video, which by recording just with the phone and also using the internal microphone, I can have somewhat reduce. So if I now assume these things, then I think it makes more sense to record videos in my brain's power output peaks, or in other words, in my ultradian highs. The informational density I can provide per unit of time, I could also potentially increase by speaking faster, by learning more, and thus compress the information further. So additional computational resources, so additional power output from my brain, can basically infinitely be used. 1 second could actually be 1,000 seconds, at least if I took milliseconds, for example, and I would be able to basically have 1 second as a millisecond. Now, of course, there might be constraints like my neurons firing speed, etc. But because there are also things in life that I cannot further compress, like I need to sleep a certain amount of time. Of course, I can maybe compress this a little bit by optimizing it, but if I get paid a certain wage per hour, then I cannot compress this much because I'm paid on the time. Versus here, at least in the future, I might be paid not per time, but per value I provide.